Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be making a simple background using the gloss sprays in a slightly different way. So these are some of the new gloss sprays from Dina Wakley's June Release. And the two sprays we're using in particular are the two up on the top. So the ones that I'm using at the moment, I'm using Lemon and Cheddar. This one's a new one called Tango, and it's an in-between. It's not as bright as the Tangerine, but it's obviously not as yellow as the Cheddar, so it's a really great in-between colour. This one is magenta, and this is again the new colour called Rouge, which is a beautiful, beautiful in-between red and fuchsia. So just to sort of compare it a little bit, the last colour I've put on is actually fuchsia, so you can see it's a much more, it's not a rosy pink, because it's not really pink, it's a reddy pink colour. It's on the page. This is the closest to swatching as I get. So I'm working on a new substrate, which is again new from Dina this release, which is her really thick watercolour paper. It comes in a pack of 10, which is great for doing books or book covers. This is actually a piece that I wanted to frame for my art room, so it's really handy for things that you don't necessarily want to do into a journal, but it's one of those really robust papers that you can use. So the two colours that I've sprayed on over the top are the new colours, the Tango and the Rouge. So I'm trying to get my head around the names. And that last one, the more purpley looking one, was a little bit of fuchsia, and using the new stencil from the last release as well, just to add a little bit of texture and detail into the background. Finally, I'm just getting my yellow back again because it got a little bit lost, and just doing some splatter over the background. So you can see that's a really, really simple background. You could cut that up and use it as cards. You could stamp on it, make it into card fronts. You could cut it into bookmarks. You could use it as a scrapbooking background. You know, there's so many things that you could do with that. I'm choosing to make it into a little bit of a collaged piece that I can frame and put up on my wall. But you know, the background in itself is a really, really simple one. One of the things that makes that background work, is the fact that I've used analogous colours, so colours that sit next to each other on the colour wheel. So if you wanted to do it in cool colours, you know, you'd be using your blues and greens. Purples can sometimes be a little bit tricky because sometimes they're warm and sometimes they're cool. So if you're not 100% sure about it, sort of stay clear of the purples, or just see if it sort of fits with the range that you've got. But you can see by pouring it out onto the little tray that I had, that just made it really easy to see what the colours look like. And I just paint until I've used up all the paint, so or all the gloss spray, sorry. So nothing gets wasted. You also saw me painting and putting my stencils into my little 6x6 journal. So again, you know, nothing really gets wasted. So on this piece of cardboard, I am busy fiddling around with one of the new stencils, which is called Pensive Face. And this is adapted from a technique that an Australian artist, I'm not sure what her actual name is, but her Instagram handle is Incurable Sarah. So you'll find her on Instagram. And she sort of first did this, where she drew around the stencil and then cut it out to make a collaged figure, and I just really, really loved it. And I'm having so much fun sort of drawing on weird and wacky hair onto my figures. So you can see I drew in some extra lines. I wasn't particularly happy with how they're going. I'm not brilliant at hair, but I knew I was going to fuss a cut out around them, so if I made a mistake, it wasn't too much of a mistake. I'm just using a permanent texture to colour it in. You could use a Posca paint pen, you could paint it if you wanted to, but I just like it's just a really shiny black, and it just works really well as sort of almost pop art type detail. Just to add a little bit of detail into the hair, I'm just going around the outside of it with my white Posca paint pen, just to add in some of the little curls and twists of the hair, and again that sort of really amps up that black and white image on it. If you make any mistakes, you can always get your paint pan out again. You can see me there going, will I put on a border, will I not put on a border, will I put on a body, will I not put on a body? I really couldn't make up my mind. So I decided in the end that I would put on a border. Now, I actually did this before I realised I had a photo frame in my house that I could actually just slip this into, and it didn't actually really need a border on it because it got the border from the photo frame. But obviously if you didn't have that, or if you were doing this in your journal pages, you could certainly put a little bit of a border around it. I also chose to add a little bit of white around the outside just to pop it out again. Now, I was struggling with this a little bit because the gloss sprays, while they were dry enough, because they do soak into the thicker watercolor paper, it's still damp, so the pen wasn't really loving it all that much. So if I'd actually left that to dry for a while, it would have gone over that beautifully. I did want to put some colour into her eye, and I just have this thing, I've got blue eyes, so most of my figures have blue eyes. I think it's just an unconscious thing that I do. If I had left that image out of the photo frame I put it into, I would have actually put a white stripe around that black border just to sort of tie in with her neck. But because in the photo frame you couldn't see it, I decided not to. So the little delay here is me finding a quote to put on this page. And to find quotes, I tend to go to Pinterest and look up keywords. In this one, I think it was looking up sassy quotes or sarcastic quotes. I'm using a paint pen to write over this, and the reason I do that is because you just saw me do this, and it was that I can use my wet wipe to wipe away something if I make a mistake. So obviously I forgot the A in disappear. It didn't have much spacing for it, so I wasn't sure how to fix it, so I just decided to wipe it away while I was waiting. And it does remove most of it. You can see a little bit of the black there, but I knew I was going to write some extra letters in over the top. So what I like to do is just to really simply write out the quote, sort of get the spacing approximately right, and then I go back over it and I just add the sort of flourishes on it. So I extend the letters out, sort of add triangles onto the ends of them so that it fits into the space a little bit more. So I'll extend some of the letters down like that R, I'll widen some letters up just to sort of fill in the space a little bit. So you can see me go back and work on the disappear. I did have to fudge the letters just a little bit to get them all to fill in, but that's okay, that's how it works. And then I'm just going around with my white pen to add some highlights, and this is where it really pushes your text off the page. So when I'm adding this on, I tend to always put it on the bottom left hand side. No reason for that, except it's just something I'm used to now and it's consistent. So, you know, as long as you do the same side, it doesn't matter if you do the bottom left or the top right, as long as you do it for every letter. So get into a bit of a groove with it as you go. Again, I'm just using my white gel pen. No reason except it was the first one I picked up because I couldn't find my Posca paint pen, which I can now see hiding behind my ruler. So these things happen. So just in the little corner at the end, I do like when I'm doing collage pages like this, particularly if they're a little bit snarky, is to write on it why I've chosen that quote. So I was having an interesting day with some people, and this quote really summed it up for me. Some people like clouds, when they disappear it's a brighter day, and yes. So the little bit of journaling, so life likes to throw a spanner in the works when certain people arrive. So I hope you have a go at doing that really simple background. It's a background that you can apply to so many things. Check out the new Dina Wakley colours in the description box below. There's a link to Ranger where you can see all the colours released and the paper substrate I'm working on. Until next time, bye for now.